Example 2.10, determine the horizontal and vertical components of reaction at the pins A, B, and C of the two-member frame shown in the figure below. The first thing that we are going to do is to draw the free body diagram. Ipaghihiwalay natin si member AB from the member BC. So for the member AB, so we have here the slope of 1.5 rise and 2 runs. And we have here a load of 8 kilonewton. So we assume that this is force F, 8 kilonewton, with a slope of 4 rise and 3 run. This is 2 meters from the support A. So for the reactions, we have 2 reactions at point A since we have a hinge support. So this is AY and this is AX. And at point B, since this is an internal hinge, we also have 2 reactions. This is BY and this is BX. And for the member BC, nakita natin dito that BC is 2 meters in length. And we have a uniformly distributed load with a magnitude of 3 kilonewton per meter. So, for the reactions, kung makikita natin sa free body diagram natin for the member AB, we assume that BY is directed downward, so dito kukontrahin natin siya. At point B, i-assume natin siya dito that the BY is directed upward. BX is directed to the right. At the support C, so we have here a hinge support. So meron din tayong dalawang reaction dito. This is CX and CY. And for the magnitude of the load, ang gagawin lang natin dito is to compute for the area of the rectangular load or the uniformly distributed load, which is equal to 3 kilonewton per meter multiplied by the length of 2 meters, and that would give us 6 kilonewton resultant. And for the location of the resultant, so the centroid is just half of the length, so meaning this is 1 meter from the support B and 1 meter from the support C. If we are going to consider the member BC, in order for us to compute for the vertical reactions, either the BY or the CY, so first, we will be deciding kung alin yung gagamitin natin. So, kung una natin kukumputin si BY, what we are going to do is to summate moment at CY para makompute natin si BY. And if we are going to compute first the CY, so we will have to summate moment at point B para makompute naman natin yung value ng CY. Okay, so summation of moment at point C is equal to 0, taking the clockwise direction as positive. So dito, ang goal natin is to compute for the value of the reaction BY. So we have here BY that would create clockwise rotation, so this is positive. BY multiplied by the distance of 2 meters. Remember, the distance must be perpendicular to the force. Since the magnitude of the uniformly distributed load will create a counterclockwise moment, so this is negative 6 kilonewton multiplied by the perpendicular distance to the support C, which is 1 meter, is equal to 0. So solving for the value of the BY, BY is equal to 3 kilonewton. Since positive yung lumabas na sagot, meaning tama yung assumption natin that BY is directed upward. In order for us to solve for the value of the CY, we have to summate forces vertical is equal to 0. So, taking the upward direction as positive. We have the BY 3 kilonewton upward minus 6 kilonewton, since the 6 kilonewton is directed downward, plus the CY is equal to 0. So that would give us CY is equal to 3 kilonewton. Since positive din yung lumabas na sagot, meaning tama yung assumption that Cy is directed upward. Now, for the shortcut, kung titingnan natin dito, since we have the uniformly distributed load over the span of 2 meters, so ibig sabihin, magsishare lang o magkakaroon ng the same reaction si By at si Cy, and that is just half of the resultant ng uniformly distributed load. So without that computation, we can say that By is just equal to Cy, which is just half of the resultant na 6 kilonewton. So that would give us By is equal to 3 kilonewton and Cy is also 3 kilonewton. So since wala na tayo makukompute dito, lilipat tayo sa member AB. So for the member AB, since na-compute na natin yung value ng By, this is equal to 3 kilonewton. For the member AB, makikita natin dito that we have the force of 8 kilonewton perpendicular sa member with 2 meters yung distance from the support A. Magkakaroon nito ng vertical and horizontal components. So dito, we will be having the Fy, and here we have Fx. In order for us to solve for the reaction Bx, what we have to do is to summate moment at point A. So summation of moment at point A is equal to 0, taking the clockwise direction as positive. So makikita natin dito that the 8 kilonewton has the perpendicular distance of 2 meters from the point A, so pwede na natin siyang gamitin. And that would create a clockwise rotation. So 8 kilonewton multiplied by the distance of 2 meters. And the By will create a clockwise rotation also. So that would be positive 3 kilonewton multiplied by the distance of 2 meters. And for the Bx, that would rotate counterclockwise. So we would have negative Bx multiplied by the distance perpendicular, which is 1.5 meters, is equal to 0. So that would give us Bx is equal to 14.67 kilonewton positive. So tama yung assumption natin that Bx is directed to the left. Conventionally, kung hindi given itong 2 meters na to, so what we are going to do is to make use of the components ng 8 kilonewton. So that would be Fy multiplied by the perpendicular distance d1 and Fx multiplied by the perpendicular distance d2. And Fy will create a clockwise rotation with respect to point A, and Fx will also create a clockwise rotation with respect to point A. So since given naman yung perpendicular distance from the 8 kilonewton to the point kung saan tayo nagtitake ng moment, so that's why hindi na natin ginamit yung moment ng mga components. In order for us to solve for the value of the reaction AY, what we have to do is to summate forces vertical is equal to 0. So summation of forces vertical is equal to 0, taking the upward direction as positive. So we have here AY minus the component of the 8 kilonewton, that's Fy, minus By, which is 3 kilonewton, is equal to 0, since tatlo lang naman sila yung vertical forces. And that would give us AY minus 8 kilonewton. So kung babalikan natin dito sa figure kanina, ito ay may slope na 4 rise and 3 run with a diagonal of 5. So magkakaroon tayo ng 8 kilonewton multiplied by the vertical component. So that's 4 over the diagonal. Minus 3 is equal to 0. So AY is equal to 9.4 kilonewton. Since positive yung lumabas na sagot, then tama yung assumption that AY is directed upward. So in order for us to solve for the value of AX, we have to summate force as horizontal is equal to 0, taking the direction to the right as positive. So we assume that AX is directed to the right, so that is positive. Then the X component of 8 kilonewton, that is also positive, minus BX, since we assume that BX is directed to the left. This is equal to 0. So AX plus FX, so that's 8 kilonewton, multiplied by the horizontal component ng slope, so that is 3 over the diagonal 5, minus BX, since we already computed for the value of the BX, that is 14.67 kilonewton is equal to 0. So solving for the value of AX is equal to 9.87 kilonewton. Since positive yung lumabas na sagot, meaning tama yung assumption that AX is directed to the right. Kung babalikan natin yung member BC, so since hindi pa natin nakukompute yung value ng CX, what we are going to do is to summate force as horizontal is equal to 0, taking the direction to the right as positive. Since we already computed for the value of the BX, which is 14.67 kilonewton, so since to the left siya doon sa member AB, so meaning tama yung assumption natin dito sa member BC that BX is directed to the right with the magnitude of 14.67 kilonewton. So summation of forces horizontal, that would give us BX 14.67 kilonewton minus CX is equal to 0. So that would give us CX is also equal to 14.67 kilonewton. Since positive yung lumabas na sagot, meaning tama yung assumption natin that CX is directed to the left.